Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappingkatie.ctmh.com, and I am joining the Scrappy Inspiration YouTube and Instagram girls with Miranda and Lisa. And this is day 2, which is all about Christmas past. So I've pulled out several photos of my kids when my little girl was a baby, as well as some scraps from the Jingle Joy line. Now I am trimming off 1/2 inch of this 12 by 12 piece so I could keep that zip strip, and then trimming down my photos so they will fit on a 3 by 4 piece of cardstock with just a little bit of a mat showing. And then I'm going to trim down some more of these scraps. The majority of this layout is going to be on the left side with just some block layering behind the photos. So I'm just going to adhere my photos down to these mats, and then we are going to start getting everything in place, as well as take a look at what we're going to use or how we're going to use that 4th photo. So again, back to these pictures, my little girl, she was a baby and she was not having this little photo shoot for our Christmas card. And I just love the sequence of photos that are going on this layout. And then I'm going to use that 4th one as a flip flap. If you're not familiar with flip flaps, make sure you hang around to the end of this video, and I'm going to show you how you can do your memory protector so it's really easy to raise that flap. So right here, I'm pulling out a 3 by 4 flip flap. And what this does is it attaches to the base of your page, or you can attach it to the outside of your memory protector, but this method is what I prefer. And so you attach it down, and then in that blank little spot, I'll attach that 4th photo. So before I start adhering down all these other pieces, I'm going to edge distress with black. And I love that I've sped this video up so much that it looks like I'm not even touching the paper. That's quite comical to me. And so I'm going to just go ahead and glue these down, probably about a 3/4 of an inch from the top and the bottom. And I did cut this piece in half because I trimmed it just a little bit too short to begin with, that polka dotted piece. And so now I'm going to play with those zip strips and then attach some foam to the back of those photos. Now I'm leaving it over to the side because I know I'm going to have to tuck something in on the left to hide that seam from that polka dot paper. I've also pulled some embellishments, some wooden things, some red shimmer trim, just some things from my stash. And right here I'm trimming down those zip strips. Now I love this blue one. I'm going to go ahead and ink distress it just to keep the same I guess, method on all the pattern paper. But I love this blue one because my son's shirt is gray, and so it just kind of brings in that light color blue. And then I love the black one because it just kind of anchors that right side. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere down this photo strip, make sure it's secure. And then I am going to find a little card to go on the front as part of my title. So I found this 3 by 4 card from the Jingle Joy PML cards, which is the equivalent of pocket scrapbooking. And then I'm going to play with these wooden Christmas trees. Now I don't want them plain, so I'm going to pull out a stamp set of mine that has some background. So I'm going to ink one up in black, and then I'm going to ink the other one up in a different pattern, and I'm going to ink it up in candy apple just to kind of bring the red from my son's sweater over to that left side of the layout. And I love how these trees ended up looking, and I love that you can just stamp our wooden shapes and just kind of make them your own. So to adhere them to the outside of that little bitty flip flap, I'm just using glue dots. That's probably the best method to make sure that they are secure. And then I'm just going to take that piece of red glitter paper, dovetail it, and I'm going to put it up on the right. Now I want to hide the seam from that polka dot paper, so I'm going to play with that for a little bit. I end up going with this sticker from the Comfort and Joy line. And then I'm going to try to get some red over there as well. So that shimmer trim just wasn't working, so I'm going to do my little thread jumble, and this is just plain red sewing thread from my stash. And I like how that looks, so I'm going to put some liquid glass underneath that photo strip and then tuck in that thread. And then now I kind of have red on the top right and then red over there on the left. And then to secure some of those wild thread pieces, I'm going to take those enamel dots and put those up. So for my title, one of the PML cards, or the Picture My Life cards, said, "'Tis the season to be jolly." And I thought that this was so fitting for a title since my daughter was anything but jolly in this photo shoot. So I've got these foam letters, and then the rest of the title I'm going to stamp using a couple of stamp sets. So right here, I am just laying out the word season to make sure that I have enough room. And this is the Doodle alphabet. I'll leave links to all these products down below. But I'm going to be using Candy Apple to ink up that part of the title as well. So I'm going to finish this up. Again, I started with the S and then the N just to make sure that I would have those centered from left to right. And then I just kind of filled in the letters. And I find that that's best to do when you're trying to center letters. So the other part of the title, I'm just going to use just a basic font. And so I am stamping B and 2B. And then for "'tis," I'm actually going to hand write that. And you can see where I already did that off camera. So I'm going to go ahead and put down some more enamel dots just to bring those enamel dots to the right side of the page. And then I'm going to add some journaling lines on this piece of blank cardstock. So I'm using my Versamat and my T-ruler and then the edge of my table. You really can't see it, but I've got that T-ruler on the edge of my table just to make sure those lines are straight. So then I decided for those foam letters, there's so many things you can do with these foam letters. So I kind of wanted to bring another element of pink in. So I took out some of my alcohol markers, my Spectrum Noir alcohol markers, and I am just going to go ahead and color over the top of this word jolly. And it's really not perfect. Hindsight, I probably would have kept it white, but I definitely like that it brought the pink in. So this is how you do a memory protector if you're attaching the flip flap to your layout. So I put it in my memory protector, and then you need some sort of foam cutting surface, a ruler, and then I use a photo pencil so I can erase it, and you'll see that here in a second. And then you also need some sort of cutting knife or an X-Acto knife. So you'll put that foam piece down under your memory protector, and you can see where you can see that blue line or that line that I drew. And then you need a steel ruler and that X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to cut along that line that I drew. Just go over it a couple of times to make sure it's good and cut, and then I'm going to use my finger just to rub off that line that I drew. And then I'm going to pull out my silent eyelet setter. I know you guys probably have one. It probably has dust on it, or maybe you still use eyelets. I know that I haven't used eyelets in a while. But if you go ahead and you punch holes at the end of your cut, then your cut will not continue to spread, if that makes sense. Those holes kind of stop that cut. And so once that's done, you can pull your layout out. And then the bottom of that flip flap, once you start pushing it back in to the memory protector, the bottom of that flip flap just fits through that slit and then can go in your album, and it allows the reader to flip open and see all those hidden surprises. Here are some close-ups of this wonderful layout. I'm so glad to get photos of Christmas past finally scrapbooked. And don't forget that this is a part of a YouTube hop. I'll leave all the links down below so you can go visit all the rest of the girls' YouTube. And then there's a couple of girls playing along with Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave and sign up for notifications so you won't miss a thing.